Nope. Kindred's able to net that kill, and now Khan's in a beautiful spot for his ultimate if he doesn't silence himself. Moving forward here, he's going to have to work through this silence. He's trying to chase down the Tahm Kench. He needs to get onto the damage dealers. Here comes the equalizer finally. So hopping right into the game, this is going to be our first Korean game that we've ever casted, ever. And as you can see, a lot of our players are a little bit more difficult to research considering that their names end up being squares and question marks. So I'm going to save myself some pain and use some pain in this game and not even attempt to look up their names and say them. Hold on, we have an early, it looks like Cheese trying to come out from red team, but blue team is completely compared to this. Tahm Kench swallows the Senna, but she's going to be able to get caught up by the Galio taunt. And then finally, first blood goes over to the Viego, who's playing, I believe, top lane jungle. The Viego jungle. It's just so confusing because his portrait got changed with Tahm Kench's after he took him over. And also an additional kill goes over to the Ezreal in the bot lane on the Senna. It looks like Galio was trying to make sure that he didn't take that kill and didn't let that Senna get away. And a beautiful Mystic shot came out to actually push that kill over into the Ezreal's favor. So while it looks like that additional kill didn't net Ezreal any additional items besides maybe one health potion, he'll be happy to have his Viego, who's a very snowballer champion, take that first kill already. And scuffling already happening in the middle between Genji, Quid, and our set player. Again, not going to try to say any of the names that I don't know, and I wasn't able to find any information on set. Genji Quid, however, as I mentioned in our pregame chat, is the mid laner for Genji Academy, as his name may suggest, and he's going to go down right here thanks to that beautiful ignite and pull in from the set. Seemed to be a really easy kill. Set is such an oppressive laner, and honestly, you need some levels on Sylas before you're able to really step up with him. It looks like a teleport was used from Quid to get back into the mid lane, and he's going to try to hurriedly get back there and maybe establish his dominance, or just keep getting punched in the face and get brought down all the way back to half health. Once again, he's already having to chug some of his refillable potions and sit under his turret because that set's going to be a little bit too much for him until potentially he gets some more items on him. We have Happy in the bot lane with the Ezreal on the Galio player. Happy is a challenger support player in Korea. He does have 30 games played on the Galio. He has a lot of games played on many support champions, but he does have a 67% win rate on the Galio specifically, so very comfortable on this champion. He did get slightly counterpicked from what we see on a Tahm Kench here. Here comes a gank from CUAG on the Kindred in the mid lane. A flash away comes from Set to keep him safe, and nothing else will happen from that. As I was mentioning just previously, Happy did get somewhat counterpicked from the Tahm Kench support down here as he misses a taunt. If he's ever going for a taunt, it's really easy to just go ahead and eat up the Senna. One flash is having to be used by Happy. Both supports go very low in the bot lane, but no kill will be happening there. Happening, get it, happening. Nothing will be happening down there besides the fact that we're missing both summoners on both of our support lanes in the bot lane. Senna getting some beautiful slows off here. She's just going to be able to infinitely poke down both of these characters. Ezreal, even with that early game kill, since he did not buy an item, he doesn't have much edge on him at all. Here comes the taunt out that only lands on the Tahm Kench, which is more than likely the highest value target right now, considering he has no summoner spells. Ezreal's going to have to walk away as fast as possible. They're not going to want to pursue into all these minions. Tahm Kench ends up using his eat. Right, it's consume a little bit early there, but Ezreal's just getting poked down more and more. Heal comes out from both of our AD carries, and eventually the Senna ends up going down, overstepping her boundaries a little bit there and underestimating the amount of damage output that this early game Ezreal could put out with his Mystic shot as well as his W ability. Kindred's trying to make her way in here. She smells blood. There's two low health champions on the blue team, both of which, or at least one of which doesn't have flash, and that person is going to end up falling here in Happy. And Kallista's going to try to go further, but unfortunately two more kills end up going over the way of Ezreal again. And now that boy, when we're 4 minutes in the game, he already has 4 kills on him. And what previously was no items for Ezreal after that early game kill is now going to be a very early tier as well as a very early Caulfield's Hammer for him to bust out even more damage. And Ezreal is one of those champions that you really want to either sit back and relax a little bit early game or get a pretty early lead, because if you fall behind, you could really spell disaster for you in the mid game. Ezreal, who falls behind, is basically going to do no damage to anybody until he gets about 1.5, 2 items on that character. So here comes Khan in the top lane, our premier player in this game. Khan is clearly having a pretty decent time up here against our new champion, Gwen. As y'all more than likely know, Rumble did just recently get a buff on multiple things in his kit. He is being nerfed next patch because I believe they thought it was a little bit too much. But Rumble does have now shredding magic resist on each of his harpoons that go on enemy champions, and also when he silences himself and goes into that overheat state, he does end up getting additional attack speed. So a lot of top laners trying him out. Khan, as you're more than likely aware as well, is going to be the representative for... Hold on. Here comes Viego in the top lane, and what looks like to be one of the easiest dives probably we'll see all game at this moment. Gwen had no mana, had no health, and ended up just walking into the full health Khan on a Rumble up there, who's able to just easily tank about 2 to 3 turret shots and walk out of there happily with his first kill of the game. As I was mentioning, Khan going to be the representative for top lane for Korea in the mid-season invitational. Here comes another gank from Kindred. No flashes available on either members of the blue team, but a nice lockup from the Galio is almost going to kill her. She might be able to get away after the feast from the Tom Kench. But no, we already have a teleport coming down from Khan. Speaking of the devil down here, gets a beautiful equalizer off that makes both the enemy team members walk through it to try to pursue onto his Ezreal. And Ezreal ends up winning as well thanks to all that additional damage coming out. 6 kills now for him. And all the while, you would hope that Gwen would be getting something in the top lane for that, potentially a plates or potentially moving some or crashing some of her minions into the turret, but she's unable to. She ends up mistakenly using her teleport to get back up here. She might be able to get a turret play. I think she's going far too hard here. She misses her ultimate, so she's not going to have any follow-up. Here comes Galio, unhappy as well. She ends up using her E to dash over the wall, and she'll more than likely be safe here because there is the blast plant available. She's going to be able to get away. But it's still going to be an overall loss for the blue team, who 6 minutes into the game already have 11 kills, and more than half of those are moving over to the way of our Ezreal player. Ezreal, for those who were not aware or aren't on the Twitch chat pre-game when we discuss each of these players, he's typically actually a one-trick pony on Kennen in the top lane. So obviously pretty decent at landing those line skill shots as Kennen, but was pushed to the bot lane in favor of Khan playing Rumble in the top lane, because obviously if you have Khan on your team, you probably want him to do what he's known for. He's one of the best, if not the best, top laners in the world. So even with Ezreal playing off role down here, he's having a stellar game, of course, getting a lot of support from this Galio, who has a very high win rate, but also just performing very well himself. He already has his man immune 7 minutes into the game. Khan's so powerful now, he's able to go ahead and proxy these waves. He might be able to just go ahead and dive. He does get 1 tick of the equalizer off. He's being a little bit cautious here, and now that all those damage ticks has fallen off, he's going to be able to walk back into turret range, eventually get the overhit and the kill onto the Gwen, who's now on 2 deaths this game. So much scrapping happening in the bottom lane, even with Ezreal this far ahead. Seems like red team has some good agency over the lane. Here comes an ultimate from Set. Here comes an ultimate again, what looks like from Set, but into Silas. All the while, we have a gank coming out from the Viego in the bot lane. Tom Kench is going to be more than dead. I don't think they'll be able to pursue the Senna at all. That was, I love that little leapfrog that we saw in the mid lane before that. But Senna ends up overstaying. The Kindred just barely saves her with the Lamb's Respite, but now she's getting taunted into 3 members of the blue team. Happy almost goes down to a turret shot, but all of that chest puffing is going to end up in maybe a turret plate or 2 for the blue team. Senna is surprisingly potentially going to end up staying. Again, I don't know if that's the best call, but we do have Tom Kench coming in, so she'll have some backup pretty soon here. Crazy. Beautiful Lamb's Respite from the Kindred player to just barely save her 80 carry and JKK, I believe is how you say that name. In case y'all are not aware, JK, the Senna player on the red team, is also going to be Nongshim, is going to be on the team Nongshim Red Force, but is actually the 80 carry player for them in Wayne. So just one of his sub accounts, one of his in-game names. Clearly, a lot of our pro players have multiple accounts that they're called different things on, like Alole is actually, again, Khan for Damn Long Gaming. So all of the blue team had basically their shutdowns. We have Galio once again doing some great roaming here and potentially catching out our Gen G Academy player in Quig. Tom Kench is also here to hopefully maybe land an eat on his mid laner if he's able to get in here, but it looks like we have enough burst damage followed up by a Senna ultimate that almost takes out Happy. He's burning down low, but he gets level 6 to help save him there, get him a little bit more healthy. Eventually the Tom Kench E comes in, and now more fighting happening in the top lane. Gwen has really no chance up there, gets equalized, and then also gets passive by the Rumble as well. Now Viego has joined the party in the mid lane. Quid's going to have no chance here, and he's going to get possessed by the Viego, who might be able to end up following up on Tom Kench, but no, he's smart enough to walk deep behind his tier 1 turret because he knows more than likely blue team can make some additional plays on him. Here comes, okay. I was going to say, here comes Khan to walk into this Kindred and potentially push her off the turret, but she ends up just staying there and getting bopped in the face, more than likely not expecting so much damage coming out from the Khan in the top lane. It looks like he's almost, and more than likely after that kill, able to buy his rocket belt, and at that point he's really going to be able to just control the game. He's going to have so much movement. It looks like red team is already in an unwinnable state here, and I'm surprised in a Korean solo queue game, if we were at 15 minutes, this would probably already be surrendered. Just a really dominant game overall after that level 1 failed invade and cheese from the red team. So really it's going to be kind of like a highlight reel, more than likely, going on from this point forward. All lanes for the blue team are completely ahead. You can see every lane at least has 3 deaths on them for the red team. So they really need to play passively and hopefully play around jungle pressure. Unfortunately, Kindred just has not been able to output enough damage for her team, and and it's going to take a while before she even has any more, considering she's nowhere near getting a bunch of stacks. Looks like Gwen is trying to bait Khan into fighting him, which he eventually does, and it's going to be a very difficult escape here from him. I doubt he's going to be able to make it. The equalizer coming out from Silas after he steals it from Khan. And is not able to dodge the chains. But now we have more fighting and another Lambs Respite happening in the bot lane. Ezreal is forced to step into the invulnerability, followed up by the Galio ultimate. Hopefully knock up 3, but only gets 2. Now he needs to run away because Ezreal has given up that shutdown gold completely to the Kindred. And now Happy's more than likely going to fall also. Maybe he'll be able to net the kill on the Tahm Kench, but the shield is enough to save him from taking too much damage and going down there. So we see at least 1 shutdown go the way of Kindred. Now we have the rest of the blue team making their way into this low bot lane. They're doing some great kiting of this set player, who ends up getting a pretty big shield from his haymaker. He eventually goes down though to the center, and now it's a 1v4 fight for Viego, who's not going to be able to do anything here before going down to the powerful force that is the red team. If he was able to get 1 reset, there might have been some additional pressure at least coming out from him, but a great little turnaround from the red team after they were just down 16-2. Now we've at least closed that gap a little bit to 16-7. Gold is still in a pretty heavy disparity, but we've also closed the gap pretty heavily there as well, thanks to getting that additional 900 gold from that Ezreal. And I think, no, we didn't. I was going to say, I think we maybe got a shutdown on the Galio also, but he has really no actual kills, so more than likely he did not have a shutdown. I don't see it in the chat either, so we'll just move forward here. The first plates for mid lane finally going down to Quid. Happy to get some additional money there. He is overall ahead in farm, and another dive, and not a dive anymore. It looks like it was going to be contemplated by Khan, who ends up a little bit extending it a little bit too far there, falling down to the help of the enemy jungle in Kindred, who now seems to be like she's going to be our character to hopefully carry the game with so many shutdowns going her way. Some additional gold, another 600 gold going over to the Kindred. And really, we're going to be looking for a big organized team fight next. Hopefully, that would play the best for blue team. It looks like Quid might end up going in on the Silas here. He doesn't have enough damage nearly at all, and the Ignite is going to be enough for him to take down Quid in the mid lane. He's now being chased down by Kindred, but she's not going to be fast enough here unless the Tahm Kench ultimate from bot lane ends up scooting in both Senna and him. But it looks like we have that Set wants to fight because he knows his bot lane's here too. One Tahm will get off on the Tahm Kench here, and he will eventually fall to the pressure from 3 and the focus from 3 on blue team. And what ends up being 2 additional kills for the blue team there will hopefully end up netting an additional objective here also. It looks like red team's pushing their way to the top lane to hopefully stop Khan from doing any more. And if they weren't toward that bush, they more than likely were going to get completely melted. So beautiful ward there. And as I mentioned, they are able to push another objective in the mid-tier 2 turret, the most important turret to fall. Looks like we have bot tier 1 going to fall as well. Let's just mention also that plates are still up for the next 5 seconds. Ezreal's getting teleported on from Quid in the bot lane. He's going to have some help from both his Galio and I believe that's Viego in the jungle. Also, here comes the Galio ultimate. Looks like Quid doesn't want anything else to do with it if he is going to have support help here. Quid's going to try to dance around some of this, but now we have Khan going hard in the top lane, protecting his red buff. He eventually falls down. It looks like Quid also fell down in the bot lane. Let's just go back and catch that real quick. I'm very interested to see what happened down here. We saw the taunt miss from the Galio. He then goes ahead and justice punches out of there. Viego's then going to box Quid in. and we're going to have some great kiting from the Ezreal to save him. All the while, as we did see in real time, Khan eventually went down from being a little bit too deep in the enemy jungle there, wanted to protect the red buff, but they're going to end up, again, getting an additional objective in the bot lane here because all of our red team is in the top lane. Hopefully they're able to push for their first turret pretty soon here, because with all of this turret gold going in the favor of blue team and all the objectives really at all so far, we're really going to need something to help push gold back in the favor of red team if they're to stand a chance. They've already kind of done step one in shutting down all of our main shutdowns on the blue team, getting over that Khan gold onto them, getting over the Ezreal gold onto them. Here looks to be their first turret that will end up falling, goes over to the Gwen of all things, and Viego might need to be a little careful here. He does get Senna snared, followed up by some decent damage from the Kindred, but if any of them end up falling, it could be a problem. Nope. Kindred's able to net that kill, and now Khan's in a beautiful spot for his ultimate if he doesn't silence himself. Moving forward here, he's going to have to work through this silence. He's trying to chase down the Tahm Kench. He needs to get onto the damage dealers. Here comes the Equalizer finally onto at least two of them. Gwen's still sitting in it and now getting bursted down. So far, she has no mana left, so it's going to be basically curtains for her. Double kill for Khan. Here comes the Tahm Kench finally come down. Potentially a triple kill. There it is. Triple kill comes down for Khan in the top lane. Now this Kindred is going to be in complete danger here. They're aware that she's up here. She uses the sweeper to know where he's going. She's going to try to play around vision. A nice little stun comes out from the set, and also some great positioning from the Galio to walk around to cut off any of her escapes from that alcove in top lane. Quid misses his chains on the Ezreal. He is 2 levels up, but Ezreal, he needs to not forget, is so fed. He does a beautiful arcane shift to get away from Khan, but a nice steal of the Equalizer ends up finally killing the Ezreal. A 1-for-1 trade. But that's going to be our 6th death for Quid in the mid lane. Our player for Gen G Academy, who has over 1,300 solo games this season, has really been grinding, has had some really good success in Silas recently, but clearly has had a pretty rough game of it here after that really tough early game for red team. Dragon is coming up again soon. It looks like most, if not all, of our key ultimates will be up for both teams by that time. Everybody but Lamb's Respite for Kindred, so we'll more than likely start to see both teams making their way down here. It is a Wind Dragon, so it looks like nobody's in a rush. We also have Set up in the top lane, who does not have teleport, so if red team wanted to kind of push down here, they might be able to get numbers. But here comes a Shurelya's Revelry, I believe it looks like, from the Galio. He's pushing in. Here comes Khan as well, gets so much damage off on the Kindred, but not before he falls himself to Senna, who did some decent spacing there. Viego ends up netting Tahm Kench and is now moving in with his possessed body, trying to do all he can. A big ultimate from Set pushes his enemy almost out of the way there, but eventually the Gwen will go down also. 3 kills for blue team, only 1 death on Khan for the red team. And now it looks like potentially Quid will go down also to his enemy mid laner. A huge haymaker with true damage is going to end up taking out about 400 of his additional health. Senna is the only member on the red team alive now, and this will more than likely net them at least an inhibitor turret, potentially an inhibitor 2 with at least 13 more seconds on any red team member spawning. Looks like no, though. Blue team's going to back out. Dragon is going over to Viego right now for them, so at least that macro play is also pushing over into their favor, as I'll switch over to here real quick, just because it looks like directed camera doesn't care about objectives. And with all this vision being put up on the red side jungle for the blue team, looks like they're going to go back, use all that gold they just won from those various team fights, and push themselves further in the head here. The gold difference is now almost 10k. We're at about 9.5. So it's going to be a difficult game to win. I don't know if there is a win con for the red team, to be completely fair. It's looking pretty hopeless, considering that it looks like the better team fight team overall is also the blue team. So really, maybe we can get some 1v1 duels for the red team. Maybe we can get some catches, but that's really going to be it. And it looks like the only person doing any catching here is going to be Khan on the Rumble. Once again, finding Gwen all by her lonesome. That additional attack speed from Rumble paying dividends, and she does end up turning the fight thanks to her additional healing onto him. But we have Viego up here able to finish him off also. Doesn't go for the possession because now that does not make you invulnerable under tower any longer. Galio maybe looking to squeak out a little bit of some CC here for his team. He does see that his Set's making his way up here. We have both junglers in their own little scrap, and here comes the Set. Beautiful ultimate from Hin, but it looks like Tahm Kench is able to eat up the Senna before she's able to take any damage from that, but it's not going to matter. Blue team's too far ahead. Unless Quid's able to net this kill on the Ezreal, he's getting so close, he's getting so low. He's now burning. Will he go down? He does. But again, Quid was able to finally fall there. Also, he went a little bit too deep. Senna barely made it out of there, you can see, with about 50 health, and Tahm Kench also fell. So 2 kills going over again, but favor going over again in the way of blue team. 1 kill going over the way of red team in, being able to give Ezreal his 3rd death there. But no harm, no foul overall. It looks like, again, we're going to move back to base. Everyone needs to start getting ready for what potentially might be a Baron play from the blue team, because we have about 30 seconds until then. And by the way, we've been accelerating this game and the members that we have on the blue team, it's more than likely going to be a pretty easy Baron. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see many members of either team make their way over there. We see everyone just kind of farming up here, hopefully establishing some vision. You can see really the control when it comes to halfway point and warding is really on the blue team's favor at this moment. Really no wards past half for the red team at all. So really scary to walk anywhere around the map at this moment, at least past their half. Here comes Gwen again, trying to fight Khan on this rumble. Let's see if the new champion is able to be bursted down. He dodges the ultimate from her, but she's going to get the reset anyway if she gets a quick auto attack. The nice overheats and additional damage from Khan is able to take her out, as he should be. He's pretty far ahead. She has 8 deaths. We got Tahm Kench eating and spitting into the Lammer Spite. Here comes another big suplex from the set, and also a big Galio ultimate catches about 3 of the members as well, and so much damage coming out from the rest of the team is able to already net 3 kills for them. We're chasing down the Tahm Kench. He'll more than likely be able to get away, but not before Viego is able to chase down the final member of the team in center there, and then finally Tahm Kench falls down also. Here comes more than likely the easy Baron, as we see blue team waddling their way over there, and this will more than likely be the end of the game here. They're so far behind on red team. This is how accelerated Korean solo queue games can play, and I think why we see a lot of early FFs, and I'm surprised we have not seen a forfeit already in this game. But there must be somebody hostage holding on the red team at this moment, because as you can see, gold is now 13k, about 12.5k if we're being democratic here, in the favor of the blue team, and all of our lanes, everybody is just so far ahead. And if you look at the red team, we're just so far behind in overall gold. When we're looking at lane compared to lane, it looks like each lane is at least 3k gold behind, if not more, and overall items as well. We have 3 items on the set on the mid lane as compared to 2. Hold on, here comes Australia's Revelry. Beautiful taunt comes out from the Galio, and that is actually a surrender vote. And Ezreal does not misses the Nexus. Let's just take note of that. That little swag shot wasn't that cool. But overall, just a completely dominant game from both Khan and the blue team. Really, that main performance, at least how it started in the beginning of the game, was Ezreal just popping off. I think he had 6 kills for basically the last 10 minutes here. He had 6 kills very early on, and the rest were just assists. But then we got to see both Viego and, of course, Damwon Gaming's Khan really just start to overall take over the game. In that matchup in top lane, you can see 14 kills, 6 deaths, 4 assists to 1 kill and 8 deaths. Just that complete domination up there. So really solid game, a little bit more difficult, maybe even easier actually, just considering I was mainly focusing on champion names instead of the players' names. But really different from many other games that I've casted. A lot more fast paced. We really saw the blue team kind of jump on the throat or go for the neck right as soon as they already had that early game lead. And so it really does feel like the Korean server is a little bit faster than most of the rest of the world. But let me know what you guys thought below, who you'd like to see next. And for now, I hope you guys have a great day or night or whatever it is for y'all. Peace.